Hey, good morning. Cold Warrior 78 here again, back out in the woods. Actually not in the woods, this is a desert. Let me pan around and show you where I am for a moment. This is the Tonto National Forest. I'm in Arizona, and as you can see by the very dry rock in front of me, there's no water in the stream. Now this is usually flowing, but let me show you up here. That's usually blue sky. And there are patches of blue, and then there are lots of clouds. Now let me pan over here, and that's a hillside. So what does that really mean? Well, I'm in a river or stream bed in a canyon when it may rain. Now add those up for a minute and think about what needs to happen. Obviously this is not a place to be if it's going to rain. We all kind of figure that out. Here's the thing though, a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the trails, particularly out west, but back east as well, run through stream beds. At least for a part of their time. And this particular one, this entire trail zigzags back and forth across this stream, but half of the mileage is probably down here in the rocks. Now that's not normally a problem. This stream is usually running, but it's not running full width. It's running a much more restricted flow, let's say. But it's been so dry this year in Arizona that there's no water here at all. I've been to 3 of the springs that I usually go to where I can get water. Gone. This gone. And yet we're potentially threatened by a flash flood. Not the best of all possible worlds. So I was going to, like I said, talk about purifying water, and then I thought, well, since I can't find water on the surface, maybe I'd have a really good video showing you how to find water. But with the chance of those clouds opening up, probably not a good idea either, because you don't want to be grubbing around in the bottom of a river valley when there's water on your way. Now the problem is you're never going to know. This creek goes for another 20 miles or more. Its headlands are way up in the Superstition Mountains. So it could rain over there and I'd never know it. And sometimes the water would come down just kind of trickling and oh great, I have water to drink. Or it may just come down literally like somebody broke a dam. I have been out here on the other side in another canyon where it rained way out where I didn't even know it didn't rain where I was. And yet when what we heard was not water in the distance, we heard the crunching of rocks, and we didn't know what it was, but we had good sense to get up out of the way, and there was this wall of water came rolling through, and it was about 3.5 feet tall, as wide as that particular canyon was. But for those of you who do not understand, moving water has a tremendous amount of power. It's extremely dangerous. Water moving that fast, that's ankle deep, will sweep you away. No question about it. If it's a foot deep, don't even think about getting in it if it's moving fast. And of course, a flash flood like that, it was already crunching rocks because it was moving and churning everything in front of it. It might have had logs in it. You know, goodness gracious, you never know what's going to be in something like that. So the issue is not you can't ever go into a stream bed. The issue is you got to pay attention to what's going on around you. Is the wind picking up? Yes, it is. Has the temperature dropped? Yes, it has. Something's going on. Okay, there's weather coming through. Whether these clouds drop any rain here or not, I don't know. Arizona is one of those strange places where it can actually be raining up there, 20, 30,000 feet, and be absolutely dry down here because it evaporates on the way down. It never actually hits the ground. But by the other token, like I said, it may be raining somewhere else and I don't even know it. So I'm going to close this up, go somewhere else, and see if I can find something to do for the video today. But if there's nothing more than this, just understand the flash floods are nothing to mess with. You have got to pay attention to what's going on around you. It doesn't have to rain where you are, it can rain anywhere else. If it's uphill, it's going to come down to where you are. Okay? So, Cold Warrior 78 signing off for right now. Don't forget, get back out in the woods, have a good time. Hi, Cold Warrior 78 again. I was hiking out, trying to get out of the canyon before the storm hits. But I wanted to show you this because this is important. This is a big old hunk of rock right here in the wall of the canyon. You notice the leaves down there in the depression. Now look at the dark sand all around that. What does dark sand tell you? There's water down there. It may not be a pool, it may not be a big puddle. You may have to scoop the sand out, throw a rag down in there, get the rag wet, and then drip the rag into a cup. But there's water down there. So when you're in desert, don't think there is no water. There's always water somewhere. You just got to know where to look. All right. Hey, Cold Warrior 78 again. I've gotten myself back out of the box canyon up in there. I'm right down near the trailhead. My truck's right over here. I want to take a minute and talk about something else that is in the category of paying attention. Yesterday, down at my place down in the valley, it was 87 degrees. Bright, sunshine, hot, you know, all the things that you would assume 87 degrees would be. However, it's the middle of March. That kind of happens out here in Arizona. But today, I am 60 odd miles away from there, a little bit farther up in elevation. But the big thing is the clouds are, well, we got clouds. In Arizona, you don't normally have clouds. Here's the takeaway. When I left this morning, it was 70-ish, maybe 72. I just checked my thermometer. Right now, it's 52, which is why I'm getting ready to put on my wool jacket here. And that's something to remember, that when you're going to be out in the woods, you're typically going to be at a higher elevation than where the cities are, wherever you live. So it's going to be colder, which is usually a draw. That's why you go there, so you can be cooler. But also, you need to pay attention to things like the clouds. It hasn't rained yet. It might. I've got a poncho and a raincoat in case that happens. Wouldn't be the first time I got caught out in the middle of nowhere in a rainstorm. It's going to happen to you if you're out in the woods enough. Just be ready for it, you know. But it's that preparation that I wanted to talk about, because the mental attitude. A lot of friends of mine were going hiking today as well, and they were wearing like, this is one of those polyester fishing shirts. I've got a polyester shirt on a t-shirt underneath it to wick the moisture away from me, because I am just a sweating machine when I'm out there exercising. So that's normally a really good thing to wear here in Arizona. The shirt protects me from the sun, so I don't worry about getting sunburned and things like that. However, when you stop exercising, or even while I was hiking, there were some times there when the valley, the canyon channeled the wind right down, and that wind whipping through literally chilled me to the bone. And I had to stop and take off my rain jacket, put it on, warm up for a minute or two. I don't want to walk with it on a lot, because then I'm going to start to sweat like a you don't even want to look at it. So controlling your core temperature is a matter of controlling your sweat, making sure that sweat wicks away from your skin surface to somewhere where it can evaporate and not chill you right in here. Okay. To some extent, you also have to that's an issue of food. If you are tired and dehydrated, you're going to have a lot bigger problem staying warm. You need to fuel your internal furnace and make sure that you've got the liquids to move everything around. But also layering. Like I said, I have a base layer that wicks moisture away from the skin. That's excellent. This shirt is a protective layer from the sun which is usually my issue out here. Not quite so much today, as you can tell by the clouds going over and things getting darker. But it provides a certain level of wind resistance, although I wouldn't bank too much on that because it's designed to keep you cool. So carry wool. I also have a pile sweater in my ruck. Pile sweater, this provides plenty of moisture, warmth. The moisture wicking for this gets moisture away from the skin. You don't want to be clammy wet and then try to stay warm. That doesn't work. And then of course a complete wind screen, some sort of shell like the parka. You can even use a rain poncho if you know how to wrap it around you and like put a belt around it or something. Keep your core dry, keep it warm. Don't do things, you know, put on everything you own and then get out and get really active, then you're going to sweat. If you sweat, you're going to get cold. These are things that every hiking book, every backpacking book talks about. Shoot, every video that's ever been made about these things talks about it. But this, yeah, there we go again. Another dark cloud. But this is just something, it was an obvious issue today, so I thought I'd bring it up. It's very easy to forget these kind of things. Like I said, yesterday it was hot. If it wasn't that I was trying to not get sunburned, I'd have taken my long sleeve shirt off and just gone around in a t-shirt because it was that hot. Right now, I'm thinking about, you know, getting out of the wind and maybe putting that other sweater on because it's getting cold. It's dry. You can feel the temperature drop as I'm speaking to you, as well as you can see the wind. I don't know if you can see the trees behind me moving, but the trees behind the camera are just swaying back and forth. And, it's not a steady wind. It's like you have in the mountains. You just get gusts coming through. But then there's a steady, call it a breeze, I guess, mountain breeze. Which is, again, that's the draw. That's why people come up here, because it is cooler than down in the city. Oh well, you know, it is what it is. Point is, be prepared for it. Make sure that you've got stuff in your pack. Make sure you don't leave everything in the truck because, oh, I'm not going to need it. You know, you should always have something warm, some sort of shell, all the time. You know, if you go hiking anywhere without those two things, you're kind of stupid, in my opinion. Whether you subscribe to the concept of evolution or not, the law of the fittest and its corollary, death for the dumbest, does happen in nature. And if you're out in nature and you do something stupid, it's going to slap you. And it could slap you hard. So anyway, just be prepared for it. It's easy enough to do. Polyester pile things are a dime a dozen nowadays. I'm an advocate. I like wool. If you wash it properly, you don't have any problems with being scratchy and itchy and stuff like that. And it does retain its heat value, its warmth, even soaking wet. I've been canoeing and gotten dunked. I mean, just like in a washing machine, going through the rapids and pulled crap out of the river. Dry bags all torn to crap, and the wool kept me warm that night. So, hey, you know, it works. Anyway, just wanted to kind of wrap this up. I didn't get a chance to do some of the things that I wanted to do today. But, you know, it never hurts to go back over the basics. So again, common sense, pay attention to what you're doing. Understand that, as we were talking about before, if you're hiking in a stream or in a valley, canyon, anything like that, you've got to pay attention to the weather in the greater region around you as best you can, as well as what you can observe in your neighborhood. And when you're doing something for recreation, you know, you're just out having fun, why take the chance? You know, if I had been still in the Army and we had a mission to get to the top of that ridge, you know, all the way up and then, you know, over top and attack something, or whatever, you know, we'd have done it, you know, no question. But I'm out here having fun. Why take a chance that I'm going to get stuck up in there during a flash flood? That's kind of stupid. I mean, yeah, I'm going to be out here all day, but I'm going to be out here having fun. It's one thing to practice surviving, it's another thing to do something stupid and get yourself in a survival situation. So, you know, just try to use some common sense. Okay, so anyway, this is Cold Warrior 78 telling you, have fun, get back out in the woods. Signing off.